prayer. Explain it to the prayer. Okay. All right. It is 5/26/2020, just after 5 p.m. Remind everybody to silence their cell phones and all items of pending board action. Meeting is now called to order. The invocation was given by Ms. Jones, followed by the pledge by Mr. McMillan.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day that you've given us, Lord. And Lord, we ask you for covering during this pandemic that we're going through. And Lord, we just pray for wisdom and understanding of how to regulate this new school year that we're thinking about entering into. We pray for covering for our faculty and staff, all those involved, our students too, Lord. We just thank you for all the many blessings. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. Everyone's here. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion.
Second. Ms. Davis, second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of contracted services. Excuse me. Request to approve contracted services with Teresa Mello to provide ESY services for students requiring interpreting services for June 2020 through July 2020. Payment in the amount of $50 per hour, not to exceed $2,500, to be made.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. McMillan, second.
Second.
Mr. Moody. Any discussion or question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excuse me. Request, hold on. Goodness. Request to approve contracted services with Denise Terrell Reedy. Per hour, not to exceed 5,000, will be made from IDEA funds. Do I hear a motion? '21 school year. Payments will be made from Title I funds. Kendra Lockett, $10 per hour, up to $25 per week. Heather Worrell, $10 per hour, up to 25 hours per week. Amy Latham, $10 per hour, up to 25 hours per week. Mary Phillips, $12 per hour, up to 25 hours per week. And Madeline Watkins, $15 per hour, up to 18 to 20 hours per week during summer months, and up to 8 hours per week during the school year. Hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Moody, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. McMillan. Any discussion or question?
What would they be doing? Is it tutorial work or what?
You hear that? What was it, tutorial work or?
They'll be mostly doing administrative work, is that right, Ms. Dennis?
Clerical work.
Clerical.
They do some things.
Clerical, not administrative, but clerical. Several of these have been working during this past year, actually past couple of years. But that'll be clerical type work.
They do a lot of things for central office, but they also do a lot of things that the teachers send in from the different schools.
That good, Ms. Johnson? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of bids. Approval of bid for Centerville Middle School HVAC. Superintendent recommends awarding the bid for Centerville Middle School HVAC to Lower Alabama Heating, Cooling, and Refrigeration LLC in the amount of $144,000. Hear a motion? Motion by Ms. Jones, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. McMillan. Any discussion or questions?
Did Nelson, do we give Nelson Heating and Air to change the bid on this? I mean, anybody could bid on it.
Anybody could bid on it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
And this is for the gym at Centerville Middle School. Something that we've talked about for years. We've talked about it a long time. I've talked with Rodney Stabler a lot about it. But the bidding process was open to you.
Motion made, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request to approve Centerville Middle School cheerleaders to attend a home cheer camp conducted by UCA July 6 through 8, 2020, instead of attending the previously approved cheer camp at UAB due to cancellation. I hear a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion, Ms. Daly, second.
Second.
Ms. Jones, any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request to approve West Blockton Middle School cheerleaders to attend a home cheer camp conducted by UCA July 7 through 8, 2020, instead of attending the previously approved cheer camp at the University of Alabama due to cancellation. Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Moody, motion second by Ms. Daly. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Personnel action. Request to approve the resignation of Amy Mathis, special ed teacher, Centerville Middle School, effective May 22nd, 2020. Hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Mr. McMillan, second.
Second.
Mr. Jones, any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request approval to change the effective employment start date for Teresa Mello, educational interpreter, from June 1, 2020, to being effective at the beginning of the 2020-21 school year. Hear a motion?
Make that motion.
Ms. Daly, motion, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. McMillan. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request to approve Joy Harrell as CMT manager, Woodstock Elementary, effective 2020-21 school year. Hear a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Jones, motion, second, Mr. Moody. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank y'all. Request to approve Karen Denise Smith as 12-month custodian at Randolph Elementary School, effective June 1st, 2020. Hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Second, motion by Mr. McMillan, second. Second, Ms. Jones. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request to approve Victoria Turner and Katrina Jackson as 2020 summer school teachers, Centerville Middle School. Hear a motion?
Make that motion.
Ms. Daly, motion, second. Ms. Jones, any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request to approve Shelley Jones, Nicole Bogaden, and Delilah Williams as ESY remediation teachers, effective June 8, 2020 through July 31st, 2020. Hear a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Moody, motion, second.
Second.
Ms. Daly, any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Request to approve the following summer workers for Woodstock Elementary. Steve Lightsey, summer worker supervisor, $15 per hour. Joel Reach, summer worker, $10 per hour. Curtis Wright, summer worker, $10 per hour. Damian Taylor, summer worker, $10 per hour. Hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Daly, motion, second.
Second.
Mr. Moody, any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The superintendent, based on the recommendation of the local school principal, has made the following reassignments for the 2020-2021 school year. At West Blockton Elementary, Becky Marino, first grade teacher to kindergarten teacher. Jordan Cook, third grade teacher to second grade teacher. At Brent Elementary, Nicole Donner, fourth grade teacher, to third grade teacher. Do I hear a motion?
Don't have to.
Oh, just, that's right. Reassign it based on,
All of these, these principals have spoken and notified these teachers that this is where she'd like for them to be next year in her building.
good deal.
So it's just a great reassignment.
Right. Executive session for personnel. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Ms. Daly, motion, second.
Second.
Ms. Jones, second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? How long?
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Thanks,
Go on,
Mike.
same room.
Yeah, I will go to the same room.
Just your information.
Lisa's probably got it.
All right, need a motion to reverse.
Make that motion.
Ms. Daly made motion.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jones, any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank y'all. All right, at this point, I need a motion to amend the agenda to renew the CSFO contract with a 3% raise.
Make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Davis, second.
Second.
Ms. Jones? Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I don't think anybody here who knows the job that Bob Haygood has done, would argue with us trying to do what we can to keep it. With our history of, we've had some good ones, he's the top of the list. I mean, he served in one of the top school systems, the largest school systems in the state. And he's really done a good job for us. So thank y'all. All right. Next board meeting, Tuesday, June the 9th, 2020. Is everybody good with that? Is it 5 o'clock? Here it is.
And board members, we can meet in here as long as y'all feel comfortable meeting in here. If or when you think maybe we'll move back to the boardroom, it's up to you. I'm open, to whatever your, comfort and is. So, if you feel one way or another, just shoot me an email or give me a call and let me know. But we can meet here in this auditorium, at least I know for the next board meeting. Sure.
All right. Superintendent remarks.
Well, we had a web conference with State Superintendent Dr. Mackey on Friday, based on Governor Ivey's amended Safer at Order announcement from Thursday a week ago, in which he said schools could open on June 1st. Dr. Mackey called a conference with all superintendents. Students 13 and older can start coming back onto our campuses on June 1st. That doesn't necessarily mean right now they will. We'll be meeting with principals tomorrow, the high school and middle school, to determine when they will be ready for students to come back, 13 and older. The stipulations are that there has to be one adult for every 12 students that are on campus. Social distancing must be adhered to. Students must be provided an opportunity once they get on campus to wash their hands. If at any time students would be closer than 6 feet, face mask would be required. As long as they maintain 6 feet or farther, then it is optional. This is open for any reason a student would be on campus. That includes conditioning and weightlifting for the athletes, band practice, tutoring, summer school, any other reason for students aged 13 and up starting June 1st. But again, I'll let Mr. Liley, Mr. Austin, Dr. Blake, and Mr. Ray discuss with me at tomorrow's principals meeting what actual day they'll be ready to open back up for students.
So if it was a band, he can only have 12 students at a time, right?
Per adult.
Per adult.
Per adult. That's the orders from the state superintendent. Students 12 and younger can come back starting July the 6th, Monday, July the 6th. I believe that's the date. It may actually be, I'll have to look. It may be July the 3rd, but I think it's July 6th for students 12 and younger. Same stipulations, social distancing, one adult for every 12 students, that sort of thing. The superintendent will put out, his task force is finishing up their back to school guidance. He will have that on or before June the 19th. And all the questions that you're asked about, will face masks be required for all students? Will they have to sit on 6 feet apart in the classrooms? Do they have to wear a face mask on the bus? All of that stuff that was on social media and the news last week, we'll get those answers on or before June the 19th. As far as what will happen when we start school back, it's almost certain that at some point, we're gonna have a student or an employee test positive. So what do we do? That's what's gonna come out on June the 19th, what the protocol will be for if you have a teacher or a student test positive. A lot of it's gonna go back to what they call contact tracing, and we'll get some information on that in June. A reminder, graduation, Thursday, 7 o'clock next week. Thursday, May the 4th, out here at Lee County High School. June 4th. And then Friday, June 5th, West Blockton High School at the stadium in West Blockton. With, we're all
What
invited.
time was the graduation?
7 o'clock.
7.
We're all invited. Obviously, Mr. Austin, Mr. Lawley, extends a invitation to the board members. And if either day has a rain out, then the makeup day will be that Saturday, June the 6th, will be the makeup day. So, so cross our fingers and hope it doesn't rain on June 4th or 5th around 7 o'clock in the afternoon, evening. Mr. Oakley, that's all I have this time.
All right, y'all please join me in congratulating Mr. McGee for his re-election as the District 7 President of School Superintendents of Alabama, or SSA as they're known. This shows great faith in his continued leadership. Congratulations. All right, anything else? Everybody good? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Ms. Daly, motion. Second, Mr. McMillan. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Thank y'all for being here.